The injury is not serious. That is the first thing he says, and the first thing she believes, because the Duke does not soften truth for comfort. He stands in the solar with the calm authority of someone who has assessed worse, survived worse, and expects precision from the moment. It will heal, he adds, already moving toward the basin. But it must be cleaned. The solar is warm despite the late hour. Firelight licking softly along stone walls hum with tapestries that tell older stories of battle and care in equal measure. Outside, the castle has settled into night. Guards posted, gates barred. The day's noise drained away. Inside, the air smells of beeswax and iron and herbs crushed earlier for the evening meal. She sits on the edge of the long oak table, posture straight. One hand pressed to her forearm where the cut seeps a thin line of red. It happened in the yard. An accident during training, nothing dramatic. A slip. A clash of steel too close. The sort of injury that usually draws a squire in a curt dismissal. Not tonight. There are others who can, she begins. No, he says, not unkindly. They're occupied. It's true. A late return from patrol has pulled half the household toward the gate, and the healer is already knee-deep in a soldier's torn shoulder. The Duke had seen the blood on her sleeve and made a decision as swiftly as he makes all decisions. He carries the basin back himself. She notices that before anything else. He sets it down carefully, water sloshing faintly, then reaches for a linen cloth. His movements are efficient, practiced. This is not his first time doing this. It's simply the first time she has watched him do it for her. Lift your arm, he says. She does. The sleeve is already torn, the fabric darkened near the elbow. He doesn't look at her face when he touches her. His focus is on the wound, the line of skin opened by metal, shallow but messy. This will sting, he warns. I know. He glances up then, brief and assessing. Tell me if it's worse than you expect. I will. That seems to satisfy him. He dips the cloth into the basin and presses it gently against her skin. The sting is sharp but brief. She exhales through it, jaw tightening for a heartbeat before easing again. You're steady, he says. So are you. Yes. He cleans carefully, methodically, never rushing. The cloth moves with intention, wiping away blood, checking the edges of the cut. His fingers are warm, steady, the pressure exact. Not too much, not too little. She becomes acutely aware of the quiet. The fire pops softly. Somewhere in the corridor beyond the door, footsteps pass and fade. The world continues without them. You've done this before, she says. Yes. For soldiers. For anyone who needs it, he replies. The distinction matters. He rinses the cloth and returns to the wound. The bleeding has already slowed, the red thinning to a sheen. It stopped, she observes. Yes. And yet he doesn't pull away. The cloth remains against her skin, his fingers bracing her forearm with the same careful attention as before. He checks the cut once more, eyes narrowing slightly, as if ensuring the moment has fully passed before allowing it to. You can let go, she says quietly. I know, he replies. But he doesn't. She shifts slightly on the table, the movement small but noticeable. His grip adjusts instantly. Not tightening, not loosening. Just accommodating her without losing contact. You're still holding me, she says. Yes. And the bleeding has stopped. Yes. The firelight throws a warm glow over his hands, the tendons visible beneath skin marked by years of training and command. She notices how close he is now, closer than necessary. His attention no longer split between injury and efficiency. This is where someone else would have stepped back, she says. Yes. And you haven't. No. The simplicity of the exchange tightens something in her chest. He reaches for another cloth, clean and dry, and presses it lightly against the wound. Not to clean now, but to check. The pressure is gentle, lingering. You're very aware of what you're doing, she says. Yes. And you're choosing not to move away. Yes. She swallows. This is meant to be practical, she says. It is, he replies. Until it isn't. That honesty lands harder than reassurance would have. He lowers the cloth at last, examining the cut one final time. It's clean now, neat enough to bind. It will scar, he says. She shrugs slightly. I don't mind. I know. That too carries more meaning than it should. He reaches for the bandage, tearing a strip with his teeth before wrapping it carefully around her arm. The process requires closeness, his shoulder brushing the table, his forearm near her side. The bandage tightens, secure but not restrictive. His fingers linger at the knot. "You can test it," he says. She flexes her arm slowly. "It holds." "It's fine," she says. "Yes." He doesn't remove his hand. The bandage is set. The wound tended. The reason for contact resolved. "And yet, you're finished," she says. "Yes." "And you're still here." "Yes." She looks up at him, then really looks at him. His expression is composed but not distant. Focused but not detached. The space between them feels charged in a way that has nothing to do with injury. "You don't usually linger," she says. "No." "Then why now?" He considers her for a long moment before answering. "Because," he says slowly, "you didn't pull your arm away when it stopped hurting." Her breath catches. "That doesn't make this your doing," she says. "No," he agrees. "It makes it mutual." The word settles between them. Mutual. He finally releases her arm, but only to rest his hand lightly at her wrist, grounding rather than claiming. The contact is softer now, unmistakably deliberate. "You can tell me to step back," he says. "I know." "And you haven't." "No." Silence stretches, full but not strained. The fire crackles. The basin water stills completely. "This could become complicated," she says. "Yes." "And very quickly." "Yes." She draws a slow breath, steadying herself. "You didn't let go when the bleeding stopped," she says again, quieter now. "No." "And you're still not letting go." "No." He studies her face, searching for something, hesitation perhaps, or doubt. He finds none. "This will change things," she says. "Yes." "And you're prepared for that." "Yes." She nods once, decision settling. "Then don't pretend this was only about the wound," she says. His mouth curves faintly. Not a smile, but an acknowledgement. "I wasn't," he replies. The understanding between them is sudden and clear, the kind that doesn't need explanation. He releases her wrist at last, but the absence of his hand is as noticeable as its presence was moments ago. "Rest your arm tonight," he says. "I'll have the healer check it in the morning." "Yes." "And if it opens again, I'll come find you," she finishes. His gaze holds hers. "Good," he says. He steps back then, giving her space, not retreating, not distancing, simply resetting the balance now that it has shifted. She slides off the table, standing carefully, testing her footing. The room feels larger now, the quiet more pronounced. At the door he pauses. "You didn't flinch," he says without turning. "From the wound?" she asks. "No," he replies. "From what followed?" She considers that. "Neither did you," she says. He inclines his head slightly, accepting the truth of it. When he leaves, the solar feels emptier, but not unfinished. She touches the bandage once more, feeling the steady pressure, the care in its placement. The bleeding has stopped, but something else has begun. And she knows with quiet certainty that when the Duke cleaned her wound and didn't let go, neither of them intended that moment to be the end of it. The night does not end when he leaves the solar. She feels it in the quiet that follows, how the room seems to hold the shape of him, the memory of his hands, the steadiness that lingered even after he stepped back. She binds her cloak more tightly around herself before returning to her chamber, aware of her arm not because it hurts, but because it has been touched with intention. Sleep comes slowly, not from pain but from awareness. By morning, the castle has returned to its usual rhythm. Servants move through corridors. Guards change watch. The day announces itself with the certainty of routine. And yet something is different. When she enters the great hall later that morning, her arm properly wrapped, posture composed, she notices it immediately. How eyes follow her a fraction longer than before. Not curiosity, recognition. The Duke stands near the high table, speaking with one of his captains. He looks exactly as he always does. Controlled, composed, unruffled. Until his gaze lifts. They meet across the room. Nothing dramatic happens. No pause that draws attention. No sign of intimacy that anyone else could read. But he inclines his head to her. Not as he would to a guest. Not as he would to a subordinate. As he did the night before, acknowledging something shared. She returns the gesture. Later, as the hall empties and the day stretches forward, she finds him again, this time in the covered walk that overlooks the inner yard. The space is quiet, stone warmed by sun, the air carrying the scent of earth and steel. You should have the bandage changed tonight, he says, as if continuing a conversation interrupted only by hours. Yes, she replies. Does it pain you? No. He steadies her arm, careful not to touch it this time. Good. A pause settles, not awkward, not strained. Deliberate. You didn't send for the healer again, she observes. No. And yet you came looking for me. Yes. She considers that. You said things would change. Yes. And this is how you let them. He meets her gaze steadily. This is how I keep them from becoming something they are not. That answer matters. You didn't overstep last night, she says. No. And you didn't pretend it was nothing. No. The balance between those two truths holds. She exhales slowly. Then we're aligned. Yes. They stand there a moment longer, the sun casting quiet shadows across the stone. I won't forget that you didn't let go, she says. I didn't expect you to, he replies. And I won't pretend I didn't notice. I would be disappointed if you did. A faint smile touches her mouth. That would be new, she says. Yes, he agrees. He steps back then, not retreating but allowing space the way one does when something has been acknowledged rather than dismissed. I'll see you this evening, he says. So the healer may look at it. Yes. And until then? Until then, she replies. Nothing changes. He inclines his head slightly. Some things already have, he says. And then he leaves her there, not because the moment demands separation, but because it no longer requires proximity to exist. That night, when the healer checks the wound, she barely listens to the commentary. It is clean. Healing well. No trouble expected. When she ties the fresh bandage herself, she does so with calm certainty. The injury will fade. The memory will not. In the days that follow, nothing improper occurs. No ninguém toches. No unnecessary closeness. And yet, everything is different. He looks for her in rooms where he did not before. She notices when he is present even before she sees him. Conversations carry weight they once did not because of longing but because of understanding. One evening, as they stand once more near the fire in the solar, she flexes her arm experimentally. It's healed, she says. Yes. And you don't need to check it anymore. No. She turns to face him fully. But you're still here. Yes. He meets her gaze without hesitation. I stayed the first time because you needed it, he says. I stay now because I choose to. The distinction is everything. She nods once. That's enough, she says. For now, he agrees. The fire crackles softly. The castle settles into night. The wound has closed. The care has ended. But the moment he didn't let go, the moment neither of them stepped away, that has become something else entirely. And this time, neither of them mistakes it for an accident.